Recording right now? Okay, all right. How skilled? Yeah, I thought about this question earlier. I think because I am self-taught, I didn't really take any classes to learn animation. I think I'm pretty good in that regard. I don't think that I'm the master. I still think I have a lot to learn. Um, because like a master has, I would say like peak efficiency, and I'm not quite there yet. I think I'm around like halfway. Um, Also, I feel like I still have a lot to learn. I'm sure that some masters, as I said before, if they saw my work, they would consider my methods somewhat primitive. Yeah, that's that. So I have done 3D animation before, not a lot, and I would definitely not say I'm very skilled at that. I'm practically a beginner. I'm very, very far from being skilled in that regard for 3D, but I've done a lot, and I'm currently taking classes for it, so maybe I'll get better at it. Hmm. The biggest challenge by far is getting the motivation to do it, because once you get the motivation, it's smooth sailing. But it's hard to get it and keep yourself motivated to keep going, because it's hard to see to the end. Like a 10-minute long animation will take me like a year to make, and I've only made like one of those, and it just takes forever, and so it's hard to motivate yourself. But if you just keep pushing, it feels worth it. I can't say for financially because it's a lot of work for not much of a payoff, but um, it's usually worth it. And the another problem is time. I have not done a lot of projects that had a time restraint, but I've done a few, and that is very stressful when you have a time limit. But it's also very exciting, especially if you get it done in time. Not so much if you don't. Um, so yeah, I would say motivation and time. Those are the two struggles of animation. Hmm. What do you mean by like stop motion, hand drawn, 3D? Like, what are you referring to? Oh yeah. Hmm. Oh really? Okay. Um. Yeah. Wow, what do I call that? I forget what that's called. Visual storytelling. That's what that's called. There's no dialogue. It's just what you're seeing. Well, there was one word. Everybody likes to point out that there's the one "what" in that cartoon. Um. Uh. I do that. That was very different when I made that, and I'm working on stuff. I don't want to reveal what it is, but I'm working on stuff that has more visual storytelling like that. A lot of projects, actually, multiple that were inspired by that one. Um, so, I mean, I guess visual storytelling. It's very unique. I've only really done one. If you count the April Fool's one, then I guess two. Um, but yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I know. I think a lot of people would just say a higher frame rate, but of course, then there's the cost that it'll take it longer to animate. Um, I guess just skill. Yeah, skill more. Because, for example, you can have a character from one position to another, and then say like you're on a very very severe time crunch, you'll just do one drawing between those 2 points, and it might look a bit choppy because it's just one drawing. But if you don't have a time crunch, or if you have more time, um, maybe you do like 10 drawings in between those things, and it's like really smooth. Um, so yeah, I guess just more drawings, more frames. I do not recommend using AI to create more frames. I often don't like how that looks. I animate on 24 frames per second, which is apparently the average of movies. I used to animate on 30 frames per second, but then when I realized that 24 is standard, I switched to that because it's much easier to draw 24 than 30. Well, 6 extra frames per second, which doesn't sound like a lot until you count up the seconds. But yeah, I mean that works too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I work completely alone. I would like to have other people, but I have something. I don't know if there's a word for it, but it's like the feeling of like I can't trust anybody to work on what I'm working on but myself, which is something bad. I don't think anybody should. I think you should break that if you have that. You should work with other people. It makes getting stuff done much quicker. Um, yeah, I don't have anyone I really work with. Just myself. When I was a young child, and the internet was relatively new, I saw all these people. When I was really little, I watched stuff like Lego stop motion animations, and I thought they were the coolest thing ever. And I tried making some, but they were all terrible. But so were the ones that I watched. So I mean, I did it as well as they did, I guess. Um, and as I got older, I got more into 2D animation because that was really popular back in the late 2000s on the internet. People love that. It sadly sort of declined, which sucks. But I was like, I want to make cartoons on the internet too, um, and yeah, that's why. I guess I just kind of always wanted to do that. Hmm. Felix Colgrave, I think that's how you say his name. It might be Colgrave. He created a cartoon called Double King on YouTube, and it's amazing. He also made another one called Throat Notes. That one's also a masterpiece. I don't think, honestly, even in stuff like big animated like Disney movies, I've not even seen animation this good. It's some of the best I've ever seen in my entire life. Hmm. Yeah, highly recommend it. Hmm. As I said before, like I always wanted to make, oh, excuse me, cartoons on the internet. When was my first one? I have a different channel where I first started animating. That's not the MT Doodle King channel. And it was using MS Paint to animate, which I think MS Paint is not a very good tool to animate. Of course, some people have made it work, like the Big Les show. I don't even know how they did that, but yeah, I used to use MS Paint, and I used to believe that's how people animated it. And I was like, how does anyone have the patience for this? Because MS Paint is not an animation tool, and neither was something I currently use called GIMP. I'll explain that a bit later. But they're both just drawing tools; they're not made for animating. I was like, why would anyone ever want to animate like this? And then I remember I got a DSi when I was like 12, I think. And on that, it has a thing called Flipnote Studio, which uh, which allowed for animation. And I was like, they should have they should have something like this to help people animate instead of MS Paint. Not I didn't realize that people don't use MS Paint to animate. Um, and I was like, I want something like this because it made animating really easy. And then I later found the program Adobe Animate, which does a similar method of animating. Mhm, mhm. Oh. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Well, actually, I was going to bring up a question you didn't ask, but I've basically answered. Is what animation software do I use? Um, as I said before, Adobe Animate. I use a program called GIMP, as I mentioned earlier. It's the drawing program. I use it to make detailed backgrounds. It is free. I use that to animate for like one cartoon, and that also had the same thing as Paint, where it was pain because it's not made to animate. Yep. Is that all? All right. Well, this has been nice. I guess I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.